Okay, Smarty Coleman here. It is April 13th, so that means we're going to do the games of April the 12th with Parker Coleman. I'll give a little bit of commentary from the games that I'm aware of as we go along. Without further ado, Parker Coleman.
We have 15 games yesterday, and 7 of them were interleague games. That'll be something that's common next year, but right now, and in the past, it was not very common at all. First game we got to talk about is the Red Sox and the Tigers. Tigers won the first game of the series. They scored 3 runs again, but the Red Sox scored more. We start in the third with Spencer Torkelson, who started off pretty bad in his first for his first 2 major league games. He was like over 12, over 13, which of course I didn't judge him and say he's going to be a bust off of this part. But you're kind of thinking like, when's he going to get his first hit? He gets his first hit. Garneau would single to put 2 on. Grossman's groundout would score Torkelson. Scope single would score Garneau, and Baez would double to score 1 more. It's 3-0 Tigers. That is about as good as we get for the Tigers. As Pilecki would single, Kike Hernandez would double, scoring him. Devers would score Kike Hernandez on a single, and JD Martinez would double to score Devers and tie the game. At the top of the 8th, Hernandez walks and scores off of a Devers single and a Badu air. Arroyo singles to score Devers. That's it. The Red Sox would beat the Tigers 5-3 and even up the series. Devers was 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Whitlock went 4 innings, 2 strikeouts, a walk. He got a 4-inning save, which it would have been a save anyways, but it's a 4-inning save, and he was really good out of the bullpen, just signed an extension. Kike Hernandez was 2 for 4, RBI and a double. 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Red Sox, 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Tigers. Guardians, Reds. So this was an interesting game. There were comments made by Phil Castellini, which really makes me understand why the owners were vilified in the lockout. He basically threatened to leave Cincinnati or sell it to someone who would move the Reds out of Cincinnati instead of get better players. I don't know what he's thinking, as the Reds have never spent a whole lot of money, and they have just sold off their entire team. But there's really no reason for fans to show up right now, especially since they showed that they would rather sell and spend money when they're 2 pieces or 3 pieces away than spend some money on those 2 or 3 pieces and contend. So there's really no reason for Reds fans to be there. And the Castellinis are one of the more cheaper owners, and I mean, I think Reds fans would be happy for them to sell. I really feel bad for Reds fans, and I feel like there's almost no reason to be a Reds fan if they're just going to threaten to move whenever the fans are questioning them. I just think it's very tone deaf, very unprofessional, and very idiotic. This guy is the son of a businessman. I wonder if his father ever taught him to not annoy the people who spend money on you, because they will stop. Anyways, that was a bit of a tangent. The Reds played the Guardians, and the Guardians, they're actually kind of doing pretty well. In the top of the third, Mercado would reach on a third strike. Jimenez would reach on an error, so 2 avoidable base runners right there. Straw would walk. Stephen Kwan would hit a sacrifice fly, 115 pitches, still no swings and misses for Stephen Kwan. The other 2 score as Ramirez clears the bases with a triple. In the top of the 4th, Owen Miller doubles. Jimenez triples, making it a 4-0 ball game. And the bottom of the 6th, the Reds would tie it as Farmer would be hit. Fraley would double. Both would score on Jonathan India double. Tyler Naquin would homer to make it 4-4. And the top of the 9th, Owen Miller would double again. Jimenez would homer for the lead. Andres Jimenez had a pretty good game yesterday. Hedges would be hit. Straw would double. The bases are loaded as Kwan walks. Ramirez hits a grand slam to blow it wide open. It's now 10-4 after entering tied 4-4. In the bottom of the 9th, Naquin would double and score on a wild pitch. The Reds would lose 10-5. Ramirez was the first star, 3 for 5, 2 doubles, 6 RBIs. Jimenez was the second star, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs, a home run. Naquin was the third star, 2 for 3, home run, and 2 RBIs and a walk. 10 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Guardians. 5 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Reds. Mariners, White Sox. Another low-scoring game. Matt Brash makes his MLB debut, and he was pretty good. Spoiler alert, he was one of the stars, even though he got the loss. Suarez would hit a solo shot to make it 1-0 Mariners. In the bottom of the 3rd, they would tie it as Harrison walks. and McGuire singles. 2 are on. Anderson's fielder's choice ties it at 1. Robert would homer in the bottom of the 6th to make it a 2-1 game. In the bottom of the 8th, Robert and Brave would walk, and Jimenez reached on a fielder's choice score on Robert. That was actually a pretty big run, as in the top of the 9th, the Mariners try to rally. Crawford and France single, and then Winker singles to make it 3-2, but the Mariners couldn't rally, and they lose. Robert was the first star. He's 1 for 3 with a home run and RBI, 2 stolen bases. Matt Brash was the second star. Even though he got the loss, he still pitched pretty well. 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts. Velasquez, who started the game for the White Sox, didn't get the win, but he was the third star. 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 strikeouts. 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Tigers. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the White Sox.
Sounds like an interesting game. I'm not sure. I didn't see that one, so I can't comment on that. But I'm waiting to get to one that I can comment on. It's coming up, I'm sure.
All right. Cubs Pirates. Probably not going to be this game, as it was over in the blink of an eye. So Smiley and Quintana pitch, and I think it shows how poor the offenses were for these two teams. Because in 2022, Drew Smiley and Jose Quintana were in a bit of a pitcher's duel. Seiya Suzuki would homer in the top of the 5th to break a scoreless tie. In the top of the 7th, Seiya Suzuki would homer again. Second Japanese player next to Shohei Ohtani to have 3 home runs in his first 4 games, I think it was. The Pirates would cut the lead in half as Reynolds would homer to make it 2-1, but the Pirates would lose 2-1. I mean, that's really it. 3 solo shots.
You're right. Not much commenting on that one.
Nope. 2 for 4, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, and Seiya Suzuki. Reynolds hit a home run. He was the first star, or the second star. I'm sorry. I can't wait for the Pirates to trade him for a bag of balls during the trade deadline. Smiley went 5 innings, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Cubs, 1 run, 6 hits, no errors for the Pirates. Mets Phillies. This game went pretty quick too. Tyler Meagle has. I know DeGrom isn't playing. I know Jacob DeGrom is better than Tyler Meagle along with Max Scherzer. But Tyler Meagle looks like he's maybe not an ace, but a very, very good pitcher. He goes 5 1/3 scoreless against one of the best offenses in baseball. The Mets failed to score until the top of the 5th as Nimmo would hit a solo shot. In the top of the 8th, another run scores as Nimmo walks. Marte replaces him on a fielder's choice, and Marte steals second. Lindor singles him home. It's 2-0. At the bottom of the 8th, Alec Bohm is actually given a standing ovation one day after he says, "I effing hate this place." He owned up to it, and the Phillies fans, it's good to see them forgive. I know that they can be one of the harsher fan bases. I didn't mean to rag on Phillies fans. I wanted to get the point across that they're one of the harsher fan bases, and sometimes some players can't really react well to that. And I thought Alec Bohm was one of those players, but he owned up to it. Hopefully, it's just all forgotten. And I think Alec Bohm still has some pretty good potential, and hopefully, he can play that potential out. And the bottom of the 9th, the Phils get 2 hits from Realmuto and Castellanos, putting the winning run at home, but the Phils can't score, lose 2-0. A very, very good pitched game. I want to say a good offensive game, but the Mets only had 3 hits. So they're just lucky that the Phils didn't score anything. Meagle was the first star. He went 5 1/3, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts. Nimmo was the second star. He was 1 for 3 with a home run and a walk. Lindor was the third star. He was 1 for 4 with an RBI. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Mets. No runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Phils. Okay, this was a wild one. And Oakland and Tampa Bay seem to have the wild games. Unfortunately, there's nobody to watch those games because they don't have a lot of fans. In the top of the 1st, the A's started off pretty well as Lowry would hit a home run after Kemp and Andrus walk. Wow, homers, making it 3-1 for the Rays in the bottom of the 1st. So it's already a 3-1 game after the 1st inning. Zunino would double, score on a wall single, Lau would walk, and Choi would homer. All of a sudden, it's 5-3 Rays. Phillips homers one day after pitching. I saw something funny, and it was like pitchers who homered after, or players who have pitched one day and then homered the very next day. It was Michael Lorenzen in 2018, then Shohei Ohtani for like 10, and then it said Brett Phillips. 6-3. Brown singles and later scores on an error in the top of the 6th to make it 6-4. Franco would triple and also score on an error in the 6th. Murphy and Lowry would walk, and Brown would single scoring Lowry. Another 2 more runs scoring a Pinder double, and we're tied going into the 9th inning. Rays going to score. We go to the 10th. Billy McKinney single scoring the Ghost Runner, In the bottom of the 10th, Franco doubles to tie the game, and Margot singles to score Franco and end it. The Rays win in a walk-off fashion in 10 innings. Win 9-8. Margot was 1 for 5 with the RBI and a walk. Choi was 3 for 3 with a home run, 3 RBIs. Franco was 2 for 5, double, triple, RBI. He could have had maybe he could have gotten the first cycle, single, home run, but I mean he was out the other 3 times, so maybe not. 8 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for the Athletics. 9 runs, 13 hits, 1 error for the Rays. This game was pretty quick as well. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. makes a great catch to stop an Aaron Judge double. The Blue Jays fans got way too excited about this on Instagram. That ball was not going over the wall. But it was a good catch by Gurriel. That doesn't mean it was a bad catch by Lourdes Gurriel. It just means it wasn't a robbed home run. The ball was. I mean, I've seen better catches have people not think that they're robbed home runs. So it wasn't a robbed home run. It was a Garrett catch. In the bottom of the second, after LeMahieu doubles, another error, and Aaron Hicks hits one that was not going to be caught. The Yankees take a 2-0 lead. In the bottom of the fourth, LeMahieu and Torres single. LeMahieu scores on an error, making it 3-0. In the bottom of the fourth, Donaldson walks. Judge doubles to put 2 on, and Stanton makes it 4-0 on a sacrifice fly. Yankees win 4-0. The game before was the Blue Jays score a few runs and absolutely shut down the Yankees. It was the opposite this game. The Yankees score a few runs and shut down the Blue Jays. Nestor Cortez was the first star. 4 1/3, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts. Aaron Hicks was 1 for 2, a walk, 2 RBIs and a home run. Stanton was 0 for 3 with a sac fly RBI. Since the other run was scored on the air, the third star had to be 0 for 3 with the RBI.
So let me get this. The Blue Jays' stacked offense, which is theoretically better than the Astros and any other offense, got shut down by Nestor Cortez.
Yes, they did. But to be fair, as Astros fans, we know about Nestor Cortez too.
Good point. That's why I know his name.
Mm-hmm. But still, the Blue Jays, they had a bit of a disappointing offense. And I would say since they won the first game, I don't want to say that the whole series has been disappointing. But from an offensive standpoint, it has, because 3 runs in 2 games, I don't know how they're doing right now. But you would think they'd score a little more on the Yankees. But, I mean, hey, it's one game. No runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Blue Jays. 4 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. Brewers-Orioles. I thought that the Brewers were about to beat the – I thought that the Orioles were about to beat the Brewers in a series, and it would have been crazy, and everyone would say the Brewers are falling off. Not so much. In the top of the first, Adames would single, Yelich would walk, and the 2 would score on a McCutchen double, making it 2-0. In the bottom of the second, the O's would strike back as 2 walks drawn by Owings and Chirinos, along with Kelvin Gutierrez reaching on catcher's interference. I think this is the first time we've seen catcher's interference this year, or the first time. I know it's the first time that it's been there and led to the scoring. It might be the first time this year. It's pretty rare, but one of the few things interesting about Jacoby Ellsbury's career, besides being paid way too much money for not being very good, is that he has the most amount of times ever reaching on catcher's interference. It's a weird statistic. Pete Rose had it, but you'd probably think that the all-time games leader, Pete Rose, would have it because, I mean, there's more games. There's a bigger chance of that happening. But Jacoby Ellsbury, I wanted to find a time to mention that. And even though that the Orioles lost this game, I thought it'd be interesting to mention. But Cedric Mullins, he was struggling the first 4 games. He's not struggling against the Brewers, as he would hit a grand slam, making it 4-2. In the top of the third, Adames walks. Tellez reaches on an error. Renfroe doubles to score 2. The game is tied. And the top of the 7th, after Adames doubles, McCutchen singles him in for the lead. The Brewers win a close 5-4 game over the Orioles. Both of the Brewers' 2 wins this year have been 5-4. McCutchen is 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a double. Adames was 2 for 4 with a double. Mullins was 2 for 5 with a double, home run, 4 RBIs. 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Brewers. 4 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors for the Orioles. Marlins-Royals. This was a bit of an interesting game, and it ended pretty interestingly. As in the top of the third, the Marlins take an early lead as a single by Gary Cooper, along with a guy we also know very well, Brian De La Cruz. He would single and be moved to the third on Joe Adell's error. So after Adell's the second star, he makes an error that costs him a run the next game. In the bottom of the fourth, Trout would walk, and then Jack Mayfield would triple, scoring Trout. In the bottom of the sixth, Trout would walk again. This time he'd be scored off a home run. I wonder if there's a different type of cycle where you walk every single time and then you score off of a single, score off of a double, score off of a triple, score off a home run. If Trout was going for that, then he was halfway there. But again, he wasn't able to score again. Birdie walks and Chisholm would homer to tie the game. Excuse me. It'd be 3-3. In the bottom of the ninth, Mayfield would walk. Tyler Wade would pinch hit for him, steal 2 bases, and on a grounder that's somewhat flubbed by Miguel Rojas, Wade would score. The Angels would walk it off. Max Stassi had the walk-off RBI. He was the first starter despite going 0 for 4 because he walked it off, even though, again, it wasn't a hit. Rendon was 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a home run. Chisholm was also 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a home run. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Marlins. 4 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for the Angels. Not a big offensive night, and I could tell where the Marlins offense is struggling. I think that if they get a better offense, that they could be a pretty good team, especially with their rotation. Their bullpen is still a little iffy, but they just need a better offense. And I mean, I could already tell in the first 3 or so games because they lost. They beat the Giants 2-1. Okay, pitched them well. Then they lose 3-2 to the Giants. They lose 6-2 to the Angels. Only 3 hits. 2 of them were by Jesus Sanchez. And then this game, they only get 5 hits. So you can see where the Marlins offense is struggling. Nationals, Braves. I want to thank the Washington Nationals for being so incredibly bad last night that I didn't really even have to pay attention to this game. I could just write down the final score. As in the top of the first, 2 singles by Hernandez and Soto lead to an RBI grounder by Bell. That would be about all the Nationals would do celebrating. And I said this about the Braves the night before, where the Braves scored the first run and the Nationals won 11-2. It was the opposite. The Nationals scored the first run, and then the Braves won by a lot. As in the bottom of the second, D'Arnaud and Duvall would single. Heredia would double tying it. Albies would make it 3-1 off of a double of his own. In the bottom of the third, the game would be blown completely wide open as Ozuna doubles, D'Arnaud singles, then Duvall single, adds 2 runs, Arcia single scoring another. Ozuna hits a solo shot in the fourth, not his last one, as D'Arnaud was single, then score on a Swanson double. After Heredia walks, Arcia hits a double, and it's 10-1 after 4. Ozuna would hit a solo shot in the fifth. Back-to-back homers by Josh Bell and Juan Soto in the sixth. That'd make it 10-3. In the bottom of the sixth, 2 walks for Riley. 2 walks lead to a Riley RBI double. He can't walk twice unless he faces twice in the inning. In the bottom of the eighth, D. Strange Gordon is pitching. Albies homers, 3 walks, and a funny D'Arnaud hit by pitch. He was messing around. He got hit by like a 44 mile per hour fastball and pretended like he died.
I did see that. It was funny.
Yes. The Swanson would end up scoring 2 with a single. In the top of the ninth, the Nationals tried to rally, I guess. Keeper Ruiz would double and score on a Michael Franco RBI single. However, the Braves would absolutely embarrass the Nationals 16-4. Albies was his first star, 3 for 5, 3 RBIs, home run, and a double. Duvall was 3 for 5 with a walk and 2 RBIs. Ozuna was the third star, 3 for 6, 2 RBIs, 2 home runs, a double. Probably should be the second star, but it was a pretty good night for Duvall too. He deserves some credit too. 4 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for the Nationals. 16 runs, 19 hits, no errors for the Braves. Cardinals Royals. This game they scored in bunches, and it ended up being close. The Cardinals score as O'Neill singles and Arenado homers in the bottom of the first. They score first again. Pujols hits his first home run as a Cardinal since 2011 to make it 3-0. The Royals tied as Salvador Perez hits a home run. Mondesi singles and Taylor ties it with a 2-run home run. In the bottom of the fourth, Andrew. First of all, let's see this name. How do you pronounce the name? This is going to be a fun game. How do you pronounce the name? Knizer.
Nizer.
Kisner, yeah. Andrew Kisner. He would hit a 3-run home run as both Edman and Pujols singled. He was the main hero. As in the top of the seventh, Nicky Lopez would single, Gallagher doubles to score a run. In the top of the eighth, Perez hits a solo shot to make it a 1-run game, but that'd be all. Royals can't score again, and they lose to the Cardinals. Pujols goes 3 for 4 with the home run double RBI. Andrew Kisner goes 1 for 3 with a 1 for 3 with the walk, home run, 3 RBIs. Salvador Perez 2 for 4, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs. I thought that'd be a fun game because I always tried to pronounce his name back when he was first a rookie in 2019 and in 2020. I would say like Knisner or I would say some weird stuff. 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Royals. 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Cardinals. I was in a hurry because I still wanted to get this out, but I put 6 hits where it should have been 6 runs, and I don't know what I put for the 10 hits. It looks like I put 10 runs or something like that. Dodgers Twins. This had to be a tough game. A blowout isn't very fun, but what's worse is being blown out in the 8th inning after you give up 6 runs in the 8th inning, then have an 88-minute rain delay and have to play out the rest. Your agony is just longer and longer and longer. A quiet first 4 innings until Bellinger and Taylor walk. Lux would hit a sac fly, making it 1-0. Dodgers, an error by Trey Turner would allow Kepler to score after he doubles. It's tied at 1. The top of the 8th, the wheels fall off for the Twins. Betts and Freeman walk. Turner breaks the tie with a single. Muncy walks to load the bases. Turner singles, scoring Freeman. Smith doubles, scoring 2. Justin Turner, I should say, because there's 2 Turners, scores on a Luis Arraez error. Lux gets the last RBI in a single. So just like that, the Dodgers go from being tied 1-1 to being up 7-1. Then in the bottom of the 8th, the rain delay happens. We wait 88 minutes for this to be over. The game lasted 4 hours in total, but the rain delay was not factored in there, so it was about 5 hours and 28 minutes. That was rough.
There was a Clemson game one time for the ACC championship in 2015 that lasted like 8 hours because of a 4-hour rain delay.
The Twins tried to rally, I guess. Nick Gordon would block Polanco singles. Kepler then singles, making it 7-2. However, the Twins were so heavily overmatched. Lux would score 2 RBIs, a double sac fly. He went 4 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts. He didn't pitch too bad, but I didn't really want to give him the first start since he only went 4 1/3 as a starter. Muncy was over 2, but he did get 3 important walks. 7 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Twins. This game had a robbed home run. Rockies Rangers. Garver and Nathaniel Lowe walk to get 2 on. Ibanez and singles to give the Rangers a 1-0 lead. This would be about all the fun the Rangers had. In the top of the 3rd, Hampson singles, Joe walks, and a Blackman single breaks the tie and scores Hampson. Bryant doubles for a 2-1 lead. At the top of the 5th, Joe doubles, Blackman singles, Bryant walks to load the bases. CJ Crum gets an RBI ground out to make it 3-1. Calhoun walks along with Brad Miller, and then with 2 outs, Randall Grichuk, new Rocky, robs a home run. And this would have been a home run by Corey Seager. This could have changed the game.
I saw this catch on the highlights early this morning. It was beautiful.
Yes. It wasn't like my generation's very desperate for highlights. This was actually a highlight.
Exactly.
Or a robbed home run highlight. Because like I said about the Lourdes Gurriel catch, it was a good catch, but it wasn't a robbed home run. The Rockies would score 1 more as Joe walks and is moved over, scoring a Bryant sac fly. The Rockies win 4-1. Grichuk was the first star, 1 for 4, amazing catch. It's not usually you go 1 for 4 with a single and get the first star, but that catch was just absolutely spectacular. And not only was it good, it saved the Rockies because they only won by 3, so theoretically it could be tied. Of course, the Rangers' bullpen getting out has to do with that too. But it just changed the game completely. Bryant 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs, a walk and double, a sac fly. Crum was 0 for 3 with an RBI. 4 runs, 7 hits, no error for the Rockies. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for the Rangers. Looks like we got 2 games left. We have the Astros and Diamondbacks. This game's going to be quick, but there were some great defensive highlights. What?
Did they play yesterday?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
We watched it. You can edit that. We watched it.
Yeah.
But Siri makes a 4-star catch in the 1st inning. It didn't look like a 4-star catch since he didn't have to dive. He did cover a lot of ground. In the bottom of the 3rd, Brantley makes a 4-star catch as well, possibly saving a triple. They had to play yesterday because remember it's Tuesday. Every team plays on Tuesday unless there's weird scheduling in the beginning.
Days mixed up.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, what 59-year-old man doesn't do that? And then
58.
Oh yeah, 58. In the top of the fifth, a slow shot by Siri makes it 1-0. Abreu hits 101 miles per hour. The only reason why I mentioned that, I was thinking, how rare is it for a team to have a player hit at 456 not miles per, oh my god, 456 miles per hour, a 456-foot home run, and then in the next half inning, have a guy throw 101 miles per hour. However, Abreu did have a mess up as Walker hits a solo shot to tie it in the top of the ninth with 2 outs. Siri with a maniac double, because I didn't think it would be a double. It looked like a single, but he was able to stretch it out. And maybe it wasn't so close, but but it just looked like a single. But it really worked, because after Altuve walks, Altuve's been in a slump. He is hitting the ball pretty well, and he had 2 hits today, so I think he's about to break out of it. A Brantley single gives the Astros the lead, scoring series. The Astros win a close 2-1 game. Brantley was 0-for-5, game-winning RBI, great catch. Sear was 2-for-4 with the RBI, home run, double, great catch. I gave Bumgarner the 3rd star, and that was because he went 5 innings of 1-run baseball, giving up 5 hits. That 1 run, it didn't get him the loss, but that's probably one mistake he probably wants to have back. Especially since, Madison Bumgarner is very sensitive, and whenever somebody looks at the home run for too long, he wants to kill somebody. So he's probably going to – I feel like the Astros and Diamondbacks, I feel like he's going to remember that, and he's going to try and hit the Astros on September 25th and September 26th when they play again. Then again, it's in 5 months, so, I mean, who knows? He might not even be playing with them. 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Astros, 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for the Diamondbacks. Last game, this game wasn't close at all. Padres-Giants. After the Padres get a close win, the Giants get a very, very big blowout. Yastrzemski doubles to start the game and then scores on a belt homer. Just like that, it's 2-0. Ruff and Crawford walk. Flores singles to load the bases. Estrada scores 2. Flores scores on a Duggar sac fly. Estrada steals second, scores on a Bart single. It's 6-0 after the first inning. So not a really good start. In the top of the second, the Padres get a run back. Vort singles and scores on a Myers double. In the bottom of the second, Belt and Peterson single. Ruff is hit. Crawford gets an RBI ground out. A Flores single scores another. Estrada hits an RBI double. Duggar has an RBI single. It's 10-1 after 2. So if you thought 6-0 was bad, 10-1's worse. In the top of the fifth, Beatty singles, Abrams walks, 2 ground-out scores Beatty. Bart singles, and Yastrzemski doubles scoring him. Peterson would homer. A batter later, Flores would homer. The 13-2 would be the final score. This was just never a close game. Giants win outright, 13-2. Estrada goes 2-for-5 with 3 RBIs, double. Flores goes 3-for-5 with 2 RBIs, a home run, and a double. Belt was 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs, a home run, and a walk. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Padres. 13 runs, 15 hits, no errors for the Giants. And I think yesterday was a pretty good day for baseball. It was very, very even. There was some high-scoring close games. There were some big blowouts, and there were some low-scoring close games. Phillies fans give Alec Boehm a break, which is good. So it was a pretty good day for baseball. Today was pretty entertaining, and we're going to have a controversial topic tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be talking about Clayton Kershaw getting pulled after throwing 7 perfect innings and 80 pitches. So stay tuned for that. And if I had following, there would be a lot of curse words in the comment section. That's it. You can do the outro.
Well, you gotta start somewhere, Parker, and you've got a little bit of a following. Nobody walks in and gets a million views, right? Lots of work behind those views. We thank each and every one of you for joining us. Parker Coleman on the MLB for April 12th. Today is April 13th. We'll talk to you tomorrow.